Good afternoon and welcome back to Girded with Truth. Today we're speaking about the sacrifice of purpose. We're going to go to Ruth chapter 1 verses 11 to 17. And Naomi said, "Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have an husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have an husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, would ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would ye stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me." And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. And she said, "Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people, and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law." And Ruth said, "Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest, will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me." So we see here in the book of Ruth that Naomi's husband and her two sons had died, and she was left with two daughter-in-laws. And she decided to go back to Bethlehem because she heard that Bethlehem had bread. She had nothing really to stay in the land of Moab for, so she decided she would go back to Bethlehem. Now, after telling her daughters-in-law that she was going back to Bethlehem, they said, "Okay, we'll go with you." But she said, "No, it's okay. You are free from the vow of marriage, so you can go and get married now." After she insisted that they go back, they cried because they didn't want to see her go and stuff like that. And Orpah decided that she was going to return, as Naomi said. But Ruth said, "I ain't going no way. Don't even tell me about going away, because I'm following you and I'm following your God, and wherever you go, I will go. Where you die, I will die there too. So I with you no matter what." The loyalty of Ruth. But I want to submit to you today that this situation is not so much of Naomi, Ruth, and Orpah, but it's an example of our purpose. Naomi would represent our purpose in life. Naomi means broad, and we have a general purpose. So Naomi would represent that purpose, but then God begins to speak to us about specific parts of our purpose that we have to get into. And it requires abandoning all that we know, all that we are familiar with, and stepping into the unfamiliar, stepping into where God is calling us to accomplish our full God-given purpose. And Orpah represents how sometimes we say, "We can't do this, we are not worthy, we don't have enough qualifications, we are not equipped to follow this purpose." And sometimes we leave what God has said to do and we go back to what's familiar. So Orpah represents the part of us, or the group of us, that goes back to what's familiar. But Ruth's response is what gets me, because Ruth say, "It have no going back. I can't go back to my people. I can't go back to those gods. I have to go with you. I already have a relationship with the God of Israel. So how can I go back to serve gods made with the hands of man? And it's a lot like us today. When we come to know who Christ is, when we come into this fold, how can we go back? There is no going back. I can't even remember what back looks like. I only know what forward looks like because I am like Ruth telling God, wherever you want me to go, I will go. Wherever you place me, there will I die also. So, in order for us to follow God, we need to come out of our comfort zone. Our purpose requires sacrifice. If we do not sacrifice for our purpose becomes the sacrifice. So you have to know if you are willing to sacrifice your purpose or if you are willing to sacrifice for your purpose. I cannot die and leave this earth just comfortable. I have to know that I did all God called me to do and I accomplished my full potential. I walked in my full purpose. But that requires sacrifice. It requires me to abandon everything that I know. It requires me to step out of the boat like Peter. It requires me to leave my homeland like Abraham. It requires me to go beyond where I am. It requires me to say like Job, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. It requires more of me. So I am not willing to sacrifice my purpose. Instead, I am willing to sacrifice for my purpose. So you have to ask yourself that question today. Are you sacrificing for your purpose? Or are you sacrificing your purpose? Is everything you're doing leading to God's ultimate plan and destiny for your life? Or are you pushing it aside so that you are sacrificing it to live a comfortable life? God is not so much concerned about our comfort, but He is concerned about the blueprint. He is concerned about the plan and purpose He created us for. Everything He did was because we were about to step into His plan and His purpose. We are leaving a legacy. We are building a legacy. We are God's legacy. So I ask you again, are you sacrificing for your purpose, or is your purpose the sacrifice? Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.